Okay, um, we've had the anniversary just passed recently of the Zimmerman Martin affair, as it's been known in some circles. And some of our younger friends, the guys that were 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-ish when it happened, are now 16, 17, 18. So they're around the age Martin was, give or take a year or two here and there. And a lot of them don't remember it from time. Like they don't remember a lot of it, or they only heard one side of the story. So I'm gonna go over it again, but this time I'm gonna go over all the details in one video, just to gist of it, so I can get the younger kids to understand a lot. Now, I used to run a lot at night. Sweatpants, hoodie, no ID on me. Now, probably because of this incident, I run in between work shifts and have my ID on me. I don't run that far, I'm not that good anymore, but whatever. Now, a couple years ago, after the Zimmerman affair, I was up the block running at night, and there's the last apartment building, then a small parking lot for the strip mall, and then the strip mall itself, the little row of stores, and there's a raccoon over there, and I stopped to look at the raccoon, make sure that I'm away from him, and I'm staring for like a good solid minute or two, and as I'm going back, this big tall Spanish guy that lives in the building stopped me. And keep in mind, he's a civilian, and I'm a peace officer, but I'm off duty, it's at night, blah blah blah. So he says, "Who are you, where are you going, blah blah blah, let me see what's in your hand with my keys." And I explained what's going on, and he said, "Okay, go." Later on, I was coming back around the corner, and the guy stopped me and said, "I'm so sorry, man." I was like, "For what?" I was like, "You didn't do anything wrong. You have a right to protect your property. There's an apartment building." He said it was a burglary recently or something like that happened. It was suspicious. He wanted to make sure that wasn't up to no good. I said, "You have a right to know what's going on in your neighborhood, know what's going on in your building. You're within your rights, okay? And you as a citizen have a right to know what's going on in your neighborhood, in your building, in your complex, what's going on, who are you, who people are, and you can stop people and ask." And I was not mad at him at all. In fact, I would have did the same thing if I was him on the other side of the table. Now, if we had argued, if we had dropped racial slurs, if one of us threw a punch, things would have ended a lot differently. Now, Neighborhood Watch is a group of guys that hang out in the neighborhood, and they decide to form a vigilance committee, like a patrol area. They patrol the block. They should patrol in pairs, not alone. They might patrol on foot. They might patrol in car. They might have a little patch or an armband or a little badge, a little certificate, a little safety thing or whatever that you know who they are. A majority of the time, you're better off talking to the police department, so the police department knows the Neighborhood Watch. Some police departments have special training programs that you can go to, so they can tell you the basics of the law and how to obey the law and how to work within the law. Okay, now the Neighborhood Watch is called the Neighborhood Watch, not the Neighborhood Do. Okay, the Neighborhood Watch's job is to observe and report. Now, by definition, a Neighborhood Watch captain is not a captain, unless he puts his hand on a Bible and swears before a judge or the mayor. He's not a captain. He's just a guy. Zimmerman may have called himself captain. He may have been voted captain by the neighborhood, but he was not by law a captain. He was a person. Okay, now, Neighborhood Watch means you observe and report. Can you carry a gun? You have a license. Okay. If you see something, you say something. Now, a couple of years before the Zimmerman incident, I was going for an interview for a job as a security guard at a public housing unit. I didn't get the job. I was gonna be the night watchman. I was gonna drive around the car, the truck, and just patrol the neighborhood. The girl I did the interview with recognized me from elementary school. And she called the boss and talked to me, blah blah blah. And I said to the boss basically, I said, if I see 5 guys hanging out in front of the building, I'm not getting out of the car. You know what he said? "We don't want you to get out of the car." I said, "I'll call the police, and when the police come, but I'm not getting out of the car until the police arrive." Period. Okay? So, you observe with your eyes and you report with your mouth. And you tell the police what you see. Now, the only time a Neighborhood Watch person should act is if they witness a violent felony in front of them. Now, if someone breaks into a car and takes something out and runs away with it, and no person is in physical danger, observe and report. Don't chase them. Don't. If a person is being raped, if a person is being beaten with a bat, if a guy's got a Molotov cocktail bomb and he's gonna throw it in a house, fine. But unless you see a violent felony right in front of you, observe and report. Okay? Only a police officer has the right to get out of the car and start running after people. So unless you're a police officer on duty in your uniform with your car, leave it alone. And even if you're an off-duty police officer, the experts tell you, observe and report. Call it in. Okay? Now, neither man was a hero. Okay? Trayvon Martin was 17 years old, 5'11", 165 pounds. Okay? In my home state, you are an adult on your 16th birthday. That means adult jail, adult court, adult judge, adult sentence. Okay? By definition, Trayvon Martin was an adult. He'd also had a lot of problems in school. He was always getting suspended. He was even suspended at the time this incident occurred, which is why he was at his father's house, not his mother's house. He was involved in several fights. In fact, the day before this happened, he was videotaping his friend beating up a homeless man. Okay, I'm sorry, he's not a hero. Zimmerman, on the other hand, his wife left him, allegedly for domestic violence. A girlfriend had him arrested for pointing a shotgun at her, allegedly. He allegedly threw a bottle at his girlfriend, one of his girlfriends, whatever. A man was in a traffic dispute with him, and he yelled at the man, "I'm George Zimmerman, I'll fucking kill you." He made a painting of Trayvon laying in the grass, dead. He took a picture of Trayvon's body and made like a nice painting of it, cute, okay? And he auctioned off the gun for $137,000. Okay? So he is not exactly the measure of morality, nor is he the measure of common sense or decency at all. Okay? By definition, both men were stupid. By definition, both men had violent tempers, and they met at the wrong time in their lives. Neither one of them made a good decision. Now, we're going to talk about what happened versus what could have happened. Okay, what happened was Zimmerman saw a suspicious looking person and he called 911, which is what you were supposed to do. He was in his truck. The 911 dispatcher told him, because he was getting out of the truck walking around, and the dispatcher said to him, "Get back to your truck, we don't need you to do that." I heard an idiot, and that's the guy was an idiot. Tell me one time, who was a 911 dispatcher? A 911 dispatcher is a peace officer, and by definition, you are required to obey them, period. So, and the 911 call is being recorded, and it will be used as evidence later. Whether it's for you or against you, it will be used as evidence later. He gets out of the truck, which is a stupid thing. Dispatcher orders him back to the truck. Here are three scenarios what happened next. We don't know for sure. According to Zimmerman, he was going back to the truck, and Martin pursued him. Considering his lack of judgment in the future events, that's probably not true. Another scenario was that Zimmerman and Martin were wandering around the darkness and they bumped into each other by accident. I don't believe that. The most likely scenario is that Zimmerman kept walking, ignored the 911 caller, dispatcher, and said, and went up to Martin to ask him questions. That's the most likely scenario. And they was used against him in court later. You see the prosecutor saying he's got the gun, he had the equalizer, okay? When you are involved in a deadly incident, everything you did wrong will be used against you in court later, period. Okay? So when the dispatcher, who is a peace officer, says go back to your truck right now and wait for the police, and you disobey, that's a problem. If you're over here and the suspect is over there and you start walking towards him, that's a problem. Now, if the dispatcher says get back to your truck and you see the guy attack a little girl, fine. But unless you see the guy physically initiate an attack, stay in the truck with the doors locked and the windows on. Windows locked. Hold on. Hello? Spam caller. Spam caller, I'm sorry. So you stay in the truck. Stay. Now, what he did was he walked out of the truck, probably walked after Martin, and he and Martin met up. Now, Martin cannot give us his story. Zimmerman gave us his. Do you believe it? Here's what they said, allegedly. This is alleged. Do you have a problem? No, I don't have a problem, sir. We have a problem now. Martin did punch Zimmerman in the face. We know this because of bruising on his hands and the autopsy and the doctor's reports. They proved beyond reasonable doubt Martin punched him first. A man who did not really know Joe Zimmerman that well, maybe saw him once or twice passing by, lives in the area, came out and saw Zimmerman laying on his back with Martin punching him in the face repeatedly, banging his head on concrete. A stranger is not going to commit felony perjury to protect you. So when a stranger says that's what happened, it most likely did. The autopsy and the doctor's report, and the doctor's first name was Vincent, which means he's smart. I forget his last name, no. The doctor said that Martin's clothing was hanging, which indicates he was leaning forward, which goes a long way to backing up the theory that he was punching Zimmerman. Bruising on the hands, bruising on Zimmerman's face, bruising on the back of Zimmerman's head, grass stains on his back and pant legs. That is the scientific evidence that proves beyond reasonable doubt that Martin was punching him in the face, sitting on top of him, beating him, banging his head against concrete. Now, when you kill somebody, the question is, did you honestly and reasonably believe there was a 51% chance you were going to die? When a guy's banging your head on concrete, he can kill you. Zimmerman pulled out his gun, shot Martin once in the chest, killed him. That's what happened. Now, in theory, if you believe someone's stalking you, harassing you, following you, and you punch them in the face, you could argue that it was self-defense. Now, Martin's father's house is a couple hundred feet away. If Martin punched Zimmerman in the face, knocked him to the ground, ran away, called the police are coming for Zimmerman, police are coming for Martin. Zimmerman's cops find him, Martin's cops find him in his father's house. And Martin said, listen, the guy was following me, it was dark, I thought he was after me. Zimmerman said, I thought he was a suspect, I'm a neighborhood watch guy, blah, blah, blah. They probably could have asked Zimmerman, do you want to press charges? If he says yes, they arrest Martin. Considering the 911 call showed Zimmerman was ordered to get back to the truck, he did not. Considering it's dark, considering it's a wrong place at the wrong time scenario, the judge could either A, dismiss the case, which is the most likely scenario, or B, he'll tell Martin to just plead guilty to disturbing the peace and pay a fine, and it'll be a violation, not a misdemeanor or felony. Okay? Or what the cops could do is the cops say, listen, the dispatch told you to get back to the truck, he didn't do it. You're in the dark, he doesn't know who you are, you don't know who he is, blah, blah, blah. Just it's called a wash. Shake hands and go away. You go your way, you go your way. Shake hands. Okay? That's what the cops say. It's called a wash. Okay? Or what they could have done was me and the guy up the block. Who are you? My name's Trayvon. My father lives at that house over there. I got some fruit punch and skills at the store. I'm going back to my father's house to watch a basketball game. Is there a problem? No, I'm the neighborhood watch captain. My name is George. I thought there was been a couple of burglaries lately. I saw you walking around. I thought you might have been lost. I'm terribly sorry I made a mistake. Listen, I just called the police because I thought I saw a suspect. I'm terribly, terribly sorry. Wait there for 2 minutes, please. The cops are going to come. I'll tell them everything. Cops come. I'm sorry. I'm the neighborhood watch captain. I made a mistake. I thought this guy was in trouble. I saw him from a distance away. There's been a couple of burglaries in the neighborhood. He's just a kid on his father's house. Okay, I'm not pressing charges. He didn't do anything wrong. It was my mistake. I'm sorry. It happens. Cops do this all the time. They go to the scene. They see 2 guys that don't know each other. They're passing through the neighborhood. No one committed a crime. They just let it go. Okay? Let it go. Okay? And that would have been the end of it. Okay? Or Zimmerman could have stayed in the truck. Martin would have went home. Zimmerman would have said to the cops. I thought I saw a guy walking. The cops would have figured it might have been a guy from the neighborhood, or maybe it was a guy passing through. They would have looked around a couple of times, didn't see him, and would have left away. Would have left. Okay, it happens. Things happen. Okay, a lot of times someone will call 911 and say, I thought I saw a burglar outside. Cops will search the premises, there's no one around. Maybe it was a guy walking by. There's no one around, all the doors are locked, nothing's okay? It happens. Okay? Now, Clint Smith, who was a U.S. Marine, firearms instructor, SWAT officer, he says about driving a car, getting attacked. If you're in the car and you're attacked, go. Go. Just drive away. Because if you get out of the car and initiate a fight, it's going to cause problems later. If you're in a car and someone attacks you, just go. Okay? Stay in the car, doors locked, windows locked. Wait for the police to come. That way, because A, if you're not outside, it's less likely you'll be harmed. If you're locked in the car, the suspect has to work extra hard to get to you, and it'll be a lot better for you later on in the investigation if you have broken windows, if you're in the car minding your own business, okay? So stay in your vehicle with the doors locked. Or if you're a kid walking around, there's no vehicle, retreat as far as possible. Just go back to safety, okay? Stay back, okay? This was a stupid thing, and it could have ended very, very simply. Stay in your car, doors locked, windows up. If you're confronted, leave and tell the police, I thought I saw a suspect, I might have been wrong, and I'm sitting in the car waiting for you guys to come, and the guy came to my window, tried to punch the window, and I drove off. Okay? Please, okay? And if you're talking to somebody like if you're in a conversation with the guy, who are you, who am I, I'm the guy from the block, I'm the neighbor watch guy, keep your hands in front of you, don't make any sudden movements. This could have been stopped, and that is the legacy I want you young guys to understand, all you young people out there, okay? You might be in the neighborhood, you might look suspicious, okay? The neighborhood watch guy might stop you, the cop might stop you, hands, face, just talk gently, okay? And 99% of the problems will be solved like that. Thank you, goodbye.